In this story, we will uncover the deepest secrets that Hollywood tried to keep hidden from the public eye. These scandals shook the foundations of the entertainment world and were often buried to protect reputations and careers. Despite efforts to suppress them, many of these stories have resurfaced over time, revealing a darker side of the glamorous film industry. From unexplained disappearances to mysterious relationships and covert dealings, each scandal exposes the tension between appearances and reality in Hollywood's golden age. As we explore these 20 shocking cases, you will see how much was kept behind closed doors, behind the bright lights and star-studded image. These stories remind us that beneath the surface, Hollywood has always held secrets that some desperately wanted to stay hidden. Prepare to discover the truth about the scandals that Hollywood tried to conceal for decades. During a significant moment in history, Walt Disney's actions in 1938 drew attention and raised questions about his views during a turbulent time. Despite the widespread awareness of Leni Riefenstahl's controversial reputation, Disney chose to welcome her into his circle. Riefenstahl was known for her work producing propaganda films for Adolf Hitler and the Nazi regime, which made her a highly contentious figure. Her association with Nazi Germany and Hitler's policy of spreading racist and militaristic ideas was condemned by many across the world. Yet, Disney's decision to meet with her indicates a level of acceptance, or at least a lack of public opposition to her presence in Hollywood. This encounter appeared to suggest that Disney, a prominent creator and influence in the entertainment industry, may have been less critical of her background than some might expect, especially given the tense political climate of the late 1930s. Critics and observers have since debated whether Disney's welcoming of Riefenstahl reflected personal beliefs, ignorance, or simply a focus on artistic and professional interests without concern for her political past. This incident is often included among the many cases where Hollywood's history intersects with controversial figures, which some believe the industry tried to hide or downplay over time. Overall, Disney's interaction with Riefenstahl during that period remains a subject of intrigue and suspicion, highlighting the complex relationships and moral questions involving art, propaganda, and politics. Roman Polanski's life took a dark turn after the tragic murder of his wife Sharon Tate in 1969 by the Manson family. The brutal killing shocked the world and left Polanski devastated. He was deeply affected by the loss of his wife and unborn child, and the crime cast a long shadow over his personal life and career. Over the years, Polanski's reputation was complicated by this tragedy, but the real scandal intensified in 1977 when he was charged with statutory rape involving a 13-year-old girl. The incident drew widespread media attention, and Polanski faced serious legal consequences. Fearing harsh punishment and incarceration, he fled to Europe in 1978 to avoid sentencing, becoming a fugitive from justice. His escape added to his controversial image, and he remained a figure surrounded by scandals and debates even as he continued to work in filmmaking. The combination of the murder of Sharon Tate and the late-night legal issues created a complex and troubling chapter in Hollywood history, making Roman Polanski one of the most infamous and talked-about directors in the world. Throughout his career, critics and supporters have debated his talent versus his personal actions, but the scandals continue to cast a shadow over his legacy. His life story is marked by tragedy, controversy, and the long-lasting effects of choices made during one of the darkest periods of his life. Many people remember George Reeves as the actor who brought the legendary superhero Superman to life on screen. However, his life and death have been shrouded in mystery and controversy. In 1959, Reeves was found dead in his Los Angeles apartment. The official ruling was that he had taken his own life by gunshot. This conclusion was accepted by authorities at the time, but it did not settle the rumors and suspicions that surrounded his death. Conflicting evidence, including witness statements and forensic details, caused many to question whether Reeves's death was truly a suicide. Some believe that foul play might have been involved. Adding to the intrigue was Reeves's romantic involvement with a studio executive's wife. This affair created further speculation that his death might have been related to Hollywood power struggles or personal conflicts. Over the years, many fans and conspiracy theorists have suggested that Reeves was murdered rather than choosing to end his life. The mystery surrounding his death continues to be a topic of fascination for those interested in Hollywood scandals. Despite the official ruling, the combination of suspicious circumstances, conflicting evidence, and Reeves' personal relationships has kept this case alive in the public eye. Some believe that the truth about George Reeves' death has yet to be fully uncovered, and the debate over whether his passing was a tragic accident, a suicide, or something more sinister persists to this day. The unresolved questions about his death add a dark layer to his legacy and remain one of Hollywood's most enduring mysteries. Later, many people remember that Jerry Lee Lewis's career was heavily impacted by his controversial marriage. In 1958, he married his cousin, Myra Gale Brown, who was only 13 years old at the time. This shocking fact caused a big scandal across the country and in the music world. Fans and critics alike were stunned because such a young girl was involved in a marriage with a famous musician. Despite their close relationship that lasted about 10 years, the marriage brought a lot of negative attention and criticism. Many believed that the marriage was inappropriate and criticized Lewis for his actions. The scandal also damaged his reputation, making it difficult for him to continue his career at the same level. Media coverage and public opinion turned against him because of what people saw as a morally wrong relationship. Even though the couple stayed together for over a decade, the controversies surrounding the marriage overshadowed his achievements in music. It remains one of the most talked about scandals in Hollywood history, illustrating how personal actions of celebrities can affect their public image and career. This marriage is often remembered as one of the most shady scandals that Hollywood and the music industry have ever tried to hide or downplay. Despite being regarded as one of the greatest filmmakers of all time, Alfred Hitchcock's life was filled with secrets and darker aspects that many people did not see. Among these, his controlling nature and obsessions with his leading actresses stand out. Hitchcock was known to have a strong need to control the entire filming process, but it went beyond that. He often became obsessive about his leading women, especially Tippi Hedren, who starred in his film The Birds. During filming, Hitchcock's behavior towards Hedren was intense and sometimes uncomfortable. Reports say he kept her under constant supervision, demanded multiple takes that pushed her to her limits, and even maintained a strict schedule that bordered on harassment. His obsession with perfection led him to pressuring Hedren constantly to get the perfect shot, but it also showed a darker side of his personality. It was not just about the movies anymore, it was about his desire for control and his fixation on his actresses. This complex personality was masked by his directorial genius, but these behaviors reveal a man whose obsessions went deeper than just making great films. His treatment of women, especially Hedren, highlights a very different aspect of Hitchcock that many did not want to acknowledge at the time. These stories remain part of the darker side of Hollywood history, showing how even celebrated geniuses can have troubling obsessions and behaviors behind the scenes. Many people know Charlie Chaplin as a legendary actor and filmmaker who brought laughter to millions through his silent films and memorable characters. However, behind the scenes, his personal life included relationships that have been viewed as scandalous or controversial by some. In particular, Chaplin was known to have romantic interests in significantly younger women, which attracted public attention and added to his complicated reputation. One of these young love interests was Mildred Harris, whom he married when she was just 16 years old. Their marriage became a subject of gossip and speculation as her youth and the nature of their relationship raised questions about appropriateness and the boundaries of their relationship. Another young woman who played a notable role in his life was Lita Grey, who was only 15 years old when she became involved with Chaplin. They married amid much scandal, and their relationship was widely discussed in the media at the time. These relationships contributed to a controversial aspect of Charlie Chaplin's life, with critics and fans alike questioning the ethics and morality of his choices. Despite his immense talent and popularity, his personal relationships with these much younger women remain a topic of interest and discussion among those who analyze his life and career. These stories about his romantic interests continue to be a part of the larger narrative about his complex personality, blending artistic genius with personal controversies. The details of these relationships add layers to the understanding of a man who, despite his fame, was not immune to the scrutiny and challenges that come with high-profile personal life choices. Many remember these aspects of his life as part of the broader story of Hollywood's history, and the rumors that many stars confronted behind closed doors. These relationships, especially with such young women, are often discussed when talking about the scandals that Hollywood tried to hide during that era, reflecting the darker side of a glamorous industry. The story of Charlie Chaplin's young love interests shows a different dimension of his life, one that contrasts with his cheerful on-screen persona. This aspect of his personal life continues to echo in discussions about the morals and cultural standards of his time, as well as the ongoing conversation about how fame affects personal decisions and public perception. Looking back, these relationships serve as a reminder that even the most beloved icons can have complicated or controversial personal histories, which are sometimes hidden from the public eye, but eventually come to light. These stories about his affairs with young women highlight both his youthful pursuits and the societal attitudes of the time, shaping the way people view his legacy today. The controversy surrounding his relationships with these young women remains part of the larger narrative about Charlie Chaplin, blending his genius with the complexities and contradictions of his personal life. Without warning, Judy Garland's career at MGM became a story filled with hardship, and hardship alone. From the beginning, critics often targeted her performances, and the studio tightly controlled her image and workload, which pushed her into a stressful and demanding life in Hollywood. As her fame grew, so did the pressure to stay slim and energetic, leading MGM to give her controlled substances that helped her stay thin and alert, but also created a dangerous dependency. Behind the scenes, her health and well-being were often ignored. She was subjected to forced abortions, which added to her physical and emotional pain, while MGM also imposed harsh financial penalties if she became ill or failed to meet their strict standards, further trapping her in a cycle of exploitation. These relentless pressures and mistreatment contributed significantly to her lifelong struggles with addiction, depression, and health issues. Ultimately, her body and mind could no longer withstand the toll. She died from an overdose in 1969, marking the tragic end of her tumultuous life. Her story reflects how Hollywood's treatment of her was marked by manipulation and suffering, and her struggles remain a somber reminder of the dark side of fame. Certainly, although Tallulah Bankhead was celebrated for her striking beauty and bold personality, her personal life was filled with many private struggles and difficult choices. As a prominent actress in Hollywood, she became famous not only for her talent, but also for her love affairs and daring lifestyle. However, behind the glamour and public image, she faced significant pressure to conform to the standards of the Hollywood studios. During that time, studios often demanded that stars maintain a certain image, which included controlling their personal lives to avoid scandals. To meet these expectations, Bankhead made some tough decisions about her body. By the age of 30, she had undergone 4 abortions, a secret she kept hidden for many years. These abortions were not casual choices. They were often made to preserve her career and reputation, as having children or being publicly associated with certain lifestyles could damage her chances of success. Hollywood at the time was known for its strict rules and covert efforts to cover up the private lives of its stars. These practices were aimed at protecting the carefully controlled images that were marketed to the public. Bankhead's decisions highlight the extreme measures some stars took to survive in an industry that prioritized appearance and propriety above personal well-being. Her story illustrates the hidden costs and sacrifices many stars face to maintain their careers and public images. Despite her fame, she endured significant personal hardships that were kept out of the public eye. These decisions reveal how much the Hollywood system often demanded from its stars behind the curtains, sometimes forcing them into choices they might not have otherwise made. Her life remains a testament to the complex and secretive world of Hollywood's backstage secrets and strict standards. These stories remind us that behind the glamorous facade, many stars endured personal sacrifices to protect their careers and stay in the spotlight. Many people know George Raft as a famous actor who appeared in many gangster movies. However, what is less known is that he had real-life connections to the mafia. These ties to organized crime made him a controversial figure in Hollywood. Raft was often linked to well-known mobsters like Bugsy Siegel and Oni Madden. These relationships blurred the line between his roles on screen and his personal life. He was not just portraying gangsters in movies, but had actual friendships and associations with real criminals. This caused rumors and suspicion that Raft's Hollywood career was influenced or even protected by his mafia ties. Some believe that his connections helped him avoid trouble or gain favors in the film industry. Others say his mob relationships contributed to his reputation as a shady figure. During that era, many stars with suspect ties faced scrutiny, but Raft's connections made him stand out even more. His real-life mob links have become part of Hollywood's darker secrets, and many speculate that these relationships played a role in how he was able to secure certain roles and stay out of serious legal trouble. These hidden ties added an air of mystery and suspicion around George Raft's life, making him one of the most enigmatic figures in Hollywood history. They contributed to the stories of scandals that some Hollywood insiders and tabloids tried to keep from the public eye. But eventually, these ties became part of the darker side of Hollywood's history. Rumors about his mafia connections have persisted for years, adding to his legendary status and the perception that Hollywood sometimes hid its shady dealings behind the glamour. Raff's life shows how the worlds of crime and entertainment can sometimes intertwine in ways that remain hidden from most fans and viewers, but continue to intrigue those interested in the real stories behind the glamour. His real-life mob ties make his story more complex and memorable, and they remind us of a time when the line between the criminal underworld and Hollywood was often dangerously blurred. After a night of intense speculation and whispered rumors, the death of Ted Healy remains one of Hollywood's most puzzling mysteries. Healy, who was the creator and original star of The Three Stooges, met a violent end in 1937 that shocked the entertainment world. Witnesses, or those connected to him, reported a fierce altercation that escalated quickly, ending with Healy collapsing under suspicious circumstances. Some believe that his death was not accidental, but was linked to a bigger scandal. According to various theories, powerful studio executives or influential figures within Hollywood may have wanted to silence him for reasons linked to industry politics or personal conflicts. Rumors suggest that there was a cover-up to hide what truly happened that night, and some claim that lines between crime and entertainment blurred during that period. Over time, questions have circulated about whether Healy's death was part of a larger scheme to protect certain individuals or to cover up scandals that could damage reputations. Despite many investigations and ongoing speculation, no definitive evidence has emerged, making his death even more mysterious. Theories continue to circulate about whether his death was a tragic accident or something more sinister orchestrated behind closed doors. Because of the many unanswered questions and the lack of clear answers, Ted Healy's death remains one of Hollywood's most intriguing and shady scandals, with many believing that powerful forces wanted to keep the truth hidden forever. Despite his fame and charm on screen, Errol Flynn's life off the set was marked by serious legal troubles that drew significant attention and controversy. In 1942, Flynn was accused of statutory rape by a young woman who claimed he had engaged in an inappropriate relationship with her while she was underage. The case garnered widespread media coverage and caused a scandal that shook his reputation. However, after a lengthy trial, Flynn was found not guilty of the charges, allowing him to avoid conviction and maintain some semblance of his career. Nonetheless, the allegations cast a dark shadow over his personal life, revealing that he had a history of relationships with underage girls. These relationships became public knowledge and contributed to a perception that his personal conduct was troubled and morally questionable. Even though Flynn was legally cleared, the accusations remained part of his legacy, and they continue to be a topic of interest and debate among fans and historians. His personal life reflected a pattern of questionable associations that contrasted with his charismatic on-screen persona, often leading to speculation about his character and behavior. Despite his legal victory, the scandal left an enduring mark on his public image and added an element of controversy to his life story that persists to this day. Lana Turner's dramatic life was full of intense moments that seemed straight out of a film noir story. She was a famous actress whose career shined brightly in Hollywood, but her personal life was often shadowed by tragedy and scandal. One of the most shocking events occurred in 1958, when her daughter Cheryl Crane killed Johnny Stompanato, who was not only Turner's boyfriend but also a well-known mobster. Stompanato had a reputation for being a violent and abusive partner, and Lana was involved in a tumultuous relationship with him that had many ups and downs. On a night that would change her life forever, Cheryl found herself defending her mother from Stompanato during an argument, and in a moment of chaos, she stabbed him. The case was ruled a justifiable homicide because Cheryl acted in self-defense to protect her mother from Stompanato's violence. This event drew massive media attention and kept Hollywood and the public captivated, as it revealed the darker, more secretive side of star-studded lives. Lana Turner's life, marred by this scandal, and her difficult relationship with her daughter, reflected the themes of betrayal, violence, and resilience that often appear in the stories of film noir. Throughout her career and personal struggles, she remained a striking and complex figure, her life forever marked by this dramatic and tragic chapter. After his rise to fame in silent films, Roscoe "Fatty" Arbuckle became one of the most popular comedian actors of his time. However, his career took a dramatic turn when he was accused of a serious crime involving a young woman. The scandal erupted when Arbuckle was charged with rape and manslaughter after a woman named Virginia Rapid died following an event that involved Arbuckle. The trial attracted massive media attention and was widely publicized, with many people questioning Arbuckle's innocence. Despite facing a series of trials and being ultimately acquitted of all charges, the damage to his reputation was irreversible. The accusations and the trial portrayed him in a very negative light, and many Hollywood studios cut ties with him. His films were banned or removed from theaters, and fans turned away from his work. The scandal not only ruined his career, but also became a dark chapter in Hollywood history, highlighting how accusations, whether proven true or not, could destroy lives and careers during that era. Arbuckle struggled to recover from the scandal, and even years later, his name remained associated with the controversy. The incident served as a warning about how powerful a scandal could be in Hollywood, especially during a time when public opinion was swift and unforgiving. Although he was cleared of the charges, the stigma stayed with him for the rest of his life, marking his legacy with tragedy and controversy. Many believe that his career was unjustly tarnished, and that he was a victim of a highly sensationalized case that overshadowed his talent and contributions to silent film comedy. His story remains a reminder of how scandal and public perception can ultimately determine a person's fate in Hollywood. Following the tragic and mysterious death of Hollywood actress Natalie Wood in 1981, the incident has continued to spark curiosity and debate over the years. On a cold November night, she was aboard a yacht off the coast of California with her husband, actor Robert Wagner, and their friend, actor Christopher Walken. The three had been celebrating the actress's 43rd birthday. Suddenly, Natalie was reported missing from the boat. Despite an extensive search, her body was found floating in the ocean hours later. The official cause of her death was listed as accidental drowning, compounded by hypothermia and alcohol intoxication. However, many details about her death remain unclear, fueling suspicions and theories that something more sinister may have been involved. Over the years, questions about what really happened that night have persisted in Hollywood circles and among fans. Critics and investigators have examined inconsistencies in the investigation, and some speculate that there might have been a dispute or an altercation on the boat that evening. Several witnesses who were nearby or involved have mentioned seeing or hearing things that contradict the official story. Despite renewed interest and investigations over the decades, no definitive proof has emerged to explain her death fully. The case remains shrouded in mystery, leaving many to wonder if the truth will ever be uncovered. Several documentaries and books have explored her life and the circumstances surrounding her death, but the case still holds many secrets that the industry and her fans continue to ponder. Her death not only marked the tragic loss of a talented actress, but also became one of Tinseltown's greatest enigmas. The unresolved questions continue to intrigue people, and her story remains a haunting reminder of the dark side of fame and the unresolved mysteries that still surround Hollywood's glamorous history. After her marriage to MGM executive Paul Bern in 1932, Jean Harlow's life took a dark turn when Bern was found dead under mysterious circumstances. Her marriage to Bern was brief, and his death shocked everyone. Many people believed it was not just an accident, but possibly murder, which raised many suspicions at the time. Rumors spread that Bern had been involved in secret affairs or had conflicts that could have led to his death. Some thought it was a suicide, but others whispered about foul play. Despite her innocence, the scandal shrouded Harlow's reputation, and the media paid close attention to her personal life. The tragedy distracted from her rising career and made her a subject of gossip and curiosity. Jean Harlow was often seen as a talented star caught in a web of Hollywood secrets and scandals. Her life was marked by rumors that overshadowed her achievements and contributed to her mysterious image. Even years later, the story of her marriage and Bern's death remained a dark chapter in Hollywood history. The scandal left a lasting impact, and many fans and critics still wonder about the true circumstances of Paul Bern's death, which has remained one of Hollywood's most talked about mysteries. Harlow's innocence was never proven to connect her to any wrongdoing, yet the shadow of the scandal followed her, affecting how the public saw her during her career. The tragic end of her marriage and the unresolved questions about Bern's death added to her fame as a tragic star caught in Hollywood shadows. Despite achieving fame as a Western swing musician, Spade Cooley's life took a dark turn when he committed a crime that shocked everyone. In 1961, Cooley murdered his wife, an act that was witnessed by their young daughter. This tragic event drew widespread attention because it was a shocking contrast to his public image as a popular entertainer. The crime led to a highly publicized trial, where Cooley faced serious charges. The case garnered much media coverage, and kept the public's eye on him as they followed every detail. Many people were surprised to learn about his violent actions, which seemed so different from his onstage persona. After the trial, Cooley was convicted and sentenced, leading to his downfall both personally and professionally. Interestingly, despite the severity of his crime, he was later pardoned by then-Governor Ronald Reagan, a decision that drew more controversy and added to the story's notoriety. Cooley's fall from grace is considered one of the most notable scandals in Hollywood history, especially because it involved a beloved musician and a shocking act of violence. The case remains a stark reminder of the dark side hidden behind fame and public image. His story continues to be discussed as part of the larger story of Hollywood scandals that many tried to keep hidden from the public eye. After establishing himself as a prominent actor, Robert Mitchum faced a major setback in his career in 1948 when he was arrested for possession of marijuana. The incident took place at the home of actress Lila Leeds, which quickly attracted significant attention in Hollywood and the media. Many believe that this arrest could ruin Mitchum's rising career, as drugs were highly frowned upon in Hollywood at the time. Despite his reputation as a tough and gritty actor, this scandal brought unwanted scrutiny and threatened his future in the film industry. The legal proceedings resulted in a sentence of 1 year in jail, though Mitchum only served 2 months of that sentence. During this time, he was placed on probation, which meant he could continue his work with some restrictions. The scandal cast a shadow over his career for a period, but Mitchum managed to bounce back and remain a well-respected figure in Hollywood. His ability to recover from personal and legal troubles demonstrated his resilience and determination to continue acting. This incident remains one of the most talked about scandals linked to Hollywood's darker side, revealing the struggles and challenges faced by stars trying to maintain their careers amidst scandal. It also showed that even the most successful actors could be caught up in legal issues that might have ended their careers if they had not shown strength and perseverance to move forward. Although Shirley Temple is best known for her cheerful and innocent image on screen, her early career was marked by controversial roles that many people do not remember. Starting her career at the young age of 3, she appeared in a series called The Baby Burlesques, which was made up of short comedy films. In these movies, she played roles that were considered inappropriate and shocking, especially for someone so young. One of her roles involved portraying a prostitute, which raised many eyebrows and made people question Hollywood's treatment of child actors. These films were intended to be humorous, but they often exploited the innocence of young children for entertainment. At that time, the film industry did not have strict rules about what young actors could be asked to do, and many young children, including Shirley Temple, were pushed into roles that did not suit their age. As her career developed, she moved away from these controversial parts and became a symbol of wholesome family entertainment. However, these early roles in The Baby Burlesques show a darker side of Hollywood's history and how some studios exploited child stars for shock value or to appeal to an adult audience. Shirley Temple's involvement in these projects remains a controversial part of her legacy, reflecting broader issues about the exploitation of children in show business. She later rose to fame for her bright, innocent performances in movies like Little Miss Marker and Heidi, but her early work continues to be a reminder of a time when Hollywood often pushed boundaries with young performers. Even now, many remember her career not only for her talent and charm, but also for the questions raised about the way Hollywood treated its youngest stars.